Hello, hello. I'm finally delivering on my promise, and I am going to review Let God Sort It Out by Clipse. Off of those vibes, it might sound like I really hate this album, but quite the opposite. I mean, spoilers, I really love this album. This album just rocks. So, I mean, off rip, you already know I'm going to like this. To give a little context of who Clipse is, it's the duo of Pusha T and Malice, who are brothers. And the last album that they released together was in 2009, so it's been 16 years since they have released an album together, which is why this was such a big project leading up to it. And per usual, I'm going to go over every song before I give like the final rating of the album and the review of the album as a whole. The Birds Don't Sing is the first track, and it is such a beautiful way to start this album. There's just beautiful verses from Pusha, Malice, and John Legend. The hook itself is so beautiful, and John Legend just has such an amazing performance on it. Pusha does his thing on this, but I think the best verse on this is Malice's. It is so emotional. A big theme about The Birds Don't Sing, just this track in general, is about like the loss of parents and just about parents. And Malice and Pusha had lost their parents prior to making this song. And Malice drops one of the hardest hitting lines, I think, of the entire album, saying, "Chivalry ain't dead, you ain't let her go alone," which just, I mean, I haven't lost any of my parents, luckily. So that doesn't hit me as hard as someone that has, and I could only imagine how hard that could have hit, because that is such a powerful line, and it gets me, like, choking up a little bit. I'm like, damn, that is, damn, it's just, you're at a loss for words hearing that sometimes. The next track is Chains and Whips, and the hook to this song is honestly really good, I think. It gets stuck on my head all the time, even when I'm not listening to the song. It just pops up, and it gets my head bopping every single time. I think Malice does his thing on this, but I think Pusha and Kendrick kind of take the helm. Malice took the helm on The Birds Don't Sing, but Pusha, this is Jim Jones on this track, and I was very unfamiliar with Pusha's game on dissing, because he dissected him on his verse. And I think my favorite line is, "You'd think it'd be valor amongst veterans." I don't know why that one was just like, yeah, whoa, whew, ha, whew, that is a line. And then Kendrick has a really good feature on this song. At least I think, I'm a big Kendrick fanboy, but that's besides the point. He does a similar kind of rhyme scheme to what he did in Nostalgia, because on Nostalgia, he's kind of like slant rhyming 10 and 9 like over and over to make 87, and he doesn't have that kind of like rhyme scheme, but he's still doing like gin and gin, where he's like gentrification, or like literally pass me a bottle of gin. And as an added bonus, he literally wrote this verse while he was beefing with Drake. Like in the middle of him writing diss tracks, he stopped and like wrote this verse for this Clipse album, and I think that adds some bonus points to it. The third track is POV, and I think this warrants that LeBron image, because this is an amazing 3-track run on the album. POV has a really satisfying hook to listen to. It just really tinkles the brain, really stimulates the brain, at least for me. I love the line where he's like, "They content create, I despise that." That's part of the hook. I think Tyler's verse is really good on this. I saw some hate before I listened to the album, and I think people are just hating on it for no reason. I think Tyler, again, just has a good verse on here. I think he really fits well into the song. I think the beat switch to Malice is nice, and I think Malice is doing his thing on here. "If I lied to myself, I could sell to me" is a bar. "So Be It" is the 4th track, and I think this beat is really mean. I think Pusha's got a really good verse, and I think to add on to that, he's got a really nice flow. I think Malice also be doing his thing here, and I really like the line where they go, "You ain't believe God did, you ain't Khaled." I think that goes unbelievably hard. And you also have Pusha dissing Travis on this track, which is crazy. And again, such a good diss. He's not really dissecting Travis in the same way he did Jim Jones, but it's pretty good. And I think the diss that Travis, did on Jack Boys 2 cannot compare to the track on this. And I really like the violin on this track. Track 5 is Ace Trumpets, and this track was released before the album. It was kind of like teasing it, and it was okay when I first listened to it, but it's grown on me a lot. And I like how Pusha T rhymes a bunch of things that end with things that sound like E, and I like that Malice rhymes with things that sound like A. So it's kind of like the inverse. You would expect Pusha to rhyme things that ended like and Malice to rhyme with things that sound like E. You know what I mean? But it's the opposite. That's just a cool little thing I found in this listen. And for some examples of that, "Yellow diamonds look like pee-pee" is a line from Pusha T, and "Drugs killed my teen spirit, welcome to Nirvana" is a line from Malice. The next track is All Things Considered, and this beat has grown on me the most through my listens through since July 11th. I really like Pharrell on the hook, and I really like how they end the song. And the line that stuck out to me the most was, "If the sky ain't the limit, you'll never get it." Next is Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, and I really like the beginning where Pusha is just spitting before the beat comes in, and then this beat comes in hard as fuck, dude. It is so good. This is such a solid song on the album. I don't really have too much to say about it, but the vibes are really here, and this starts the 3-track run where each track is an acronym. Next is Earnings Before Interest, Taxes, Depreciation, and Amortization. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. I think this is a really there's a really cool breakdown of this song, and I'm gonna put the image here that I saw on Reddit, and then pause it, read that. There's a whole thing. I'm not gonna do a good job explaining it, but reading that has made me like this song a lot more. I think this is a really good beat. I think Pharrell really did his thing on it, and I like the switching between Malice and Pusha on this, going back and forth. Next is FICO, or Freebasin Crackout, which on a quick Google search is how they make cocaine into crack cocaine, apparently. And it's very fitting because this song talks a lot about the lifestyle of drug dealing, but with like amazing verses by the brothers. One of my favorite lines after this is, "'Cause canines sniff out the crumb." And "You don't know what I know" is like the hook on this, and which is probably true. We don't really know what they know. And I really love the sample on this song. The next song is Inglorious Bastards, and there's just something about this beat that I think just fucks. But I do think this is my least favorite on the album, but by no means do I think this song is bad, because I do really like this. It's so hard to not bop your head to the song, and that goes for like every song in this. And I think that this has a really good feature from Abliva, or Abliva, however you pronounce it. Inglorious, Victorious, Wide Body, B.I.G., like Notorious. Next is So Far Ahead, and I really like Pharrell at the beginning, and then the beat comes in, and then Pusha just goes like 100 on it. He's going hot from the get-go, and it's amazing, and it really just brings a good energy to this song. And I like the part where he's going like, million ways to do this, million ways to do that, million ways to do this, million ways to do that, and I think it just flows so nice. What the hell? I'm keeping that in, whatever. I'd like the line where he goes, "Ain't no refs in heaven, walking my dog, I am legend." There's just so many bars in this song, and I think that this is easily top 5. I just think that the 3-track run at the beginning, for me, is top 3 for sure. But again, there's just so many bars in here, and I like the Pharrell hook. Next is Let God Sort 'Em Out / Chandelier, and this is what I have the least written about. I really like the sense on this beat. They're just doing something in my brain. I love the switch to Chandelier. I really like the Nas verse, and the line where he goes, the only thing you killing is precious time." I just really like that. Other than that, I really don't have much to say about this. The final song is By the Grace of God, and I think it makes so much sense that Malice has the first verse on this song, because he kind of stepped away from the whole rap game and ended up going into Christianity. I'm really saying this just because the title of it, By the Grace of God, but I think this song has a much better meaning than just Malice going, embracing Christianity, because I think this is a song about their gratefulness to be where they are now compared to where they could be. They kind of go over their life experiences up to this point, and they talk about like the early stages of their life, when they were selling drugs, and they're grateful that they're not there anymore and that they have money, because they see what drugs do to people and the people that sell them, and that also that they see now that they have money and stuff and they are in a good place, they can still see how people can be corrupt, and they're glad that they still, in a way, maybe have their humbleness, but most importantly, that they still have each other after all this time, and they're grateful that they can make this album, and they're glad that like the fame really hasn't changed them like it can change so many people. So as a whole, this album is freaking fantastic, man. There's not one song on here that I would say is mid. They're all so good, and they all have really good storytelling. They all have really good lyrics. They have good vibes. They have good flows. They're just all around really good, and dare I say, amazing. And again, this is just what I would give the album, and I would give this a solid 9.5, maybe a 10. I just think it's too early to call this album a 10. It hasn't even been out for a month yet, but I think in a few years this could easily be a classic. So I'm saying that in the future, this is for sure going to be a 10 for me, but because it is so new, I'm giving it a 9.5. So what I'm really saying here is that you have to listen to this album. I think this is an album that you are missing out on if you don't listen to it. Even if you're not a big fan of rap, Pusha T and Malice, Clipse, they are doing something insane on here that you just have to listen to. Well, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. Thanks for listening to me yap for 10 minutes about this album that I really like that just came out. If you want to listen to me yap some more, check the playlist out for the other album reviews I've done. I've done Don't Tap the Glass and Alfredo 2. And if you like the gameplay in the background that you've been seeing, I've been releasing a Grind to GM series. Check out the playlist. There's 3 episodes now, and I might be releasing a 4th later today. If you liked the video, maybe give it a little like, and maybe subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. You don't have to feel the need to, but maybe leave a comment. What was your favorite song on the album, and what do you think about it? What are your thoughts on the album? What rating would you give it? Anyways, until next time, bye bye.